So I wanted to ask you, what's your strategy to welcome new contributors and help them contributing to Graphite?
Well, we have a couple of things that we do for onboarding people. Usually when they join our Discord, they write a short message describing sort of their background and where they come from. And Keavon and I often do design sessions where we just design systems in Graphite, talk about challenges, and sometimes we just record them because basically I explain Keavon sort of the back-end infrastructure, the node graph inner workings, and sometimes we just record those as videos. And those have proven as really valuable learning resources for new contributors. So we're not that great with in-code documentation because we are more focused on churning out new features and implementing features, and not as much writing documentation, which will become stale in like a month, 2 month time. So yeah, that's the videos are great learning resource. And then we also just do pretty good one-to-one counseling. Like if they have issues, we go through and help them. And Keavon especially puts in the effort to really help them feel comfortable and get working efficiently.
Yeah, I also think one very successful reason that people think that our project is more inviting to new contributors compared to the average is that most projects tend to just be loosely run through a GitHub page, and anyone who's actually getting involved is just going to have to open an issue and do sort of this asynchronous, almost email-like communication with the project maintainer. Every few days, they might hear something back, and they don't really get to have extended conversations. It's more about writing a multi-paragraph question and then getting a multi-paragraph answer once or twice a day or once every day or two. And just the fact that we use Discord to communicate and we really pressure people to come on and use Discord as opposed to GitHub issues, it allows us to have really fluid conversations and basically talk through problems, find where there are areas of confusion, and try and enlighten people into the areas where they need to learn more. Having that, I think, is a very, very valuable tool towards making everyone feel more comfortable and being able to just make it much more of a fluid process. It's just otherwise very cold and impersonal to only run a project through issues and pull request comments. It just really doesn't work quite as well. So I would much rather message someone on Discord and have a conversation, even if I'm about to merge their pull request. Instead of commenting on that pull request, I'd rather just send them a message because I'm going to hear back from them sooner, and we can send short little messages and have the conversation flow better.
I see. Yeah, one downside I can think about is that Discord is not that searchable. So like if you put everything in GitHub, maybe it's easier from like external people to look what was the discussion, have more context, and maybe
Yeah, that is a trade-off.
like you lose that context because like you don't know that that conversation was led to that PR. But yeah, I can understand that as a first time contributor or maybe like a newcomer to the project, having you like available in the chat, it's way easier. Yes, because as you said, GitHub is more asynchronous as a communication.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'd say 99% of the time we are moving forward and we are not looking backward. So having a communication linked to a pull request and understanding the context behind why we built a certain feature rarely is needed, because most often we're building a feature and never remembering that we even built that feature ever again because it's done. And there are occasionally times we might have to go back and look at a commit and say, why did we do this specific thing, or who wrote this line of code? Why was that? But get blame is very useful for that. And if we really have to, we can see when was that pull request merged. We could then go back and search for the dates that that communication might have happened in Discord if we really had to, but it's pretty rare. I don't think we've ever really needed to do that, really.
Yeah, that's a very pragmatic approach. So.
Yeah. The more important part is taking common questions and common points of confusion and taking the effort of documenting those either through the contributor docs. We now have, for about a year or so, we've had on our website just sort of a getting started guide, which explains something as basic as how to install the project on your environment. And also that's one more reason that Rust is amazing compared to C++, is that it's so easy to set up a project. And compared to C++, it is so difficult to set up a project and get your environment to build. but Rust makes that very easy. So we do have just a contributor guide that explains how to install the project, and then also goes through some of the real basics, explaining generally what the code is, why it's structured the way it is, and how you interact with certain concepts like our message system, which is sort of the core of our architecture. All those sorts of things. We'd have those, and we just link to that to any new contributors saying, start out by reading this. It takes maybe 5 or 10 minutes. And once they're done reading that, then they can get started with additional things and start watching some of the videos that we've recorded that explain additional concepts. Recently, we had a pretty successful idea, which was to record me just building a feature. It was a medium, probably a small feature, basically, and very verbosely explaining everything that I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And people have found that that's a really good way of understanding more of the context for the code base and getting introduced to it as well.
Interesting. And where do you put these videos once you record them?
Typically, we'll do a Discord call when we start out, and then I'm just going to be doing a screen recording, and I just upload my entire screen recording. Typically, I'll go through and cut out any moments of silence or moments where we hit an unnecessary dead end, because I want to be respectful to the time of people who are watching this. So just cut out little places that aren't worth watching, and then upload that to the YouTube channel for Graphite. Typically, we leave those videos as unlisted, but then we'll link to them either on our contributor docs on the website or in the necessary or the relevant channels on Discord.
This video was extracted from the RustShip podcast. You can find the full episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast client. If you liked this video and you want to learn more about Rust, subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow me on LinkedIn, X, and Mastodon. You can also share it with your colleagues if you think they would like it. Bye!